Swift and absolute. Armies descended in silence, armored soldiers moving like storms, breaking the Dominion's military spine in days. The most chilling detail was this: humanity did not broadcast their victories. They sent no triumphant messages, no boasts. The galaxy only learned of each strike when Dominion worlds went dark, when trade networks screamed of vanished fleets, when burning planets lit the night sky. Where the Zyreth had broadcast cruelty, Earth answered with silence and fire. The reckoning of the Zyreth. The Dominion tried to rally. Armadas were called home. Vassal states sent tribute fleets. But for every battle fought, humanity was already there, waiting, prepared, relentless. One by one, the Dominion's strongest fleets were annihilated. Their admirals boasted on the eve of battle, only for their comms to fall silent hours later. The galaxy began to understand. Humanity's patience was not weakness. It had been time. Time spent preparing, building, sharpening the sword behind closed doors. At last, Earth struck the Dominion capital itself. Witnesses spoke of the sky turning black as Terran fleets descended. Tens of thousands of warships, a tide of steel and fire, blotting out the stars. Orbital defenses fired until their barrels burned out, but it was like throwing sparks against an ocean. The Terrans did not demand surrender. They did not parley. They unleashed vengeance. Planetary shields shattered under relentless bombardment. Military districts turned to ash. War factories melted into rivers of glowing steel. The capital was left in ruins, a broken husk. Its once proud spires toppled into dust. And still, the humans spoke no words of triumph. The message was clear: this was not war, this was judgment. Whispers in the aftermath. When the fires at last burned low, the galaxy stared into silence once more. The Zyreth Dominion was gone, its fleets shattered, its homeworld broken, its name already fading into ash. The other empires watched, and for the first time in centuries, predators grew cautious. In cantinas on distant trade worlds, whispers spread. One colony burned. The galaxy paid the price. No one laughed now, no one mocked. For the galaxy had seen humanity's truth. Their patience was long, their diplomacy sincere, their peace genuine. But when forced into wrath, they became something else entirely, an executioner that struck without hesitation, without boast, without mercy. From that day forward, a single law spread through the stars, unspoken but absolute. Never provoke Earth again. They came without warning. The skies above Erivo's colony split open as alien warships descended in a blaze of blue plasma. The inhabitants, miners, farmers, children, lifted their eyes not to see rescue but judgment. The Zyreth Dominion, a race that considered itself architects of galactic order, had chosen a target not for military gain, not for resources, but for cruelty. They struck at Erivo's simply because it was human. Bombardment rained down. Buildings melted like wax. The atmosphere shimmered with heat so fierce it burned shadows into the ground. Tens of thousands perished in moments, their screams carried only by the static of broken comms. Zyreth commanders laughed across encrypted channels. The Terrans expand too boldly, one declared. Now they will learn their place. Children who had never seen Earth died without knowing what flag they lived under. Families were erased in the blink of a superheated storm, and when the fire dimmed, all that remained was a graveyard of ash. The Zyreth did not even bother to silence their boasting. They broadcast the massacre to nearby systems, making sure that every eye in the sector knew who had struck. Their fleets paraded, their admirals preened. To them, humanity was a minor species, spread thin, still young, too sentimental to survive the cruelties of the stars. To the Zurith, burning one colony was a message. They believed Earth would tremble. They believed humans would bow. They believed wrong, mocking the silent world. After the ash came the laughter. In the halls of the Zurith Dominion's capital, speeches rang out. The humans will do nothing. They are too fractured, too cautious. Their so-called fleets are scattered. Their leaders fear escalation. Erevos was but a spark. They will smother it with silence. The chamber filled with applause, resonating like thunder against crystal walls. Delegates of allied species nodded along, secretly relieved that someone else had dared strike against the unpredictable Terrans. For decades, whispers had circled the stars about humanity, whispers of resilience, of cunning, of wars won against impossible odds, yet the galaxy convinced itself these were exaggerations. Human strength was myth, born from their obsession with storytelling. In truth, the Zurith declared they were fragile, all skin, bone, and sentiment. So the Zurith toasted their victory. They mocked the Terrans in taverns and marketplaces. They displayed captured debris from Erevos as trophies. And they spoke of the silence, the eerie, unbroken quiet from Earth. No fleet moved, no envoy condemned, no threat was issued. The galaxy interpreted that silence as weakness. But to those who knew humanity, silence was not surrender. It was the deep breath before the fire. The silence shatters. It began with a whisper. Across the void, comms that had long been quiet suddenly lit with a simple signal. Not words, not negotiation. A single pulse, steady, cold like a heartbeat, and it spread. From Earth to Mars, from the Jovian shipyards to the colonies of the Perseus Arm, from hidden outposts buried in asteroid belts to stations few even knew existed. The heartbeat grew louder. Then came the movements. Fleets shifted in the dark, silent as predators. Carriers that had slept for decades activated reactors, their cores burning white. Dreadnoughts rose from hidden docks like mountains unchained. Orbital platforms retracted their solar arrays and revealed weapons long kept secret. The galaxy's traders noticed first. Familiar star lanes were suddenly closed by Terran patrols. Merchant vessels were inspected, then turned away. When questioned, the humans said nothing. Then the broadcast came. Every channel, every frequency, every translation matrix lit up with a voice, human, calm, unflinching. One colony burned. That debt is owed by all who celebrated. Prepare yourselves. There were no ultimatums, no negotiations, just certainty. The Zurith laughed when they first heard it. Laughed until they realized the fleets moving toward their borders were larger than any coalition they had ever faced. The silence had ended, the storm had begun. The march of vengeance. They came like nightfall. From the edge of the Orion Spur, the united Terran armada emerged in numbers that shattered belief. Hundreds of carriers, thousands of cruisers, waves of escort ships that moved in precision so exact, it looked like a single machine stretching across the stars. They did not march alone. Humanity's allies, silent until now, revealed themselves. The Hellion Compact, who had watched Erevos burn with clenched fists. The Taurian clans, who had lost trade ships to Zurith raids. Even species long considered neutral drifted toward Earth's banner. At the center of it all, 3 colossal dreadnoughts led the way. They bore no names. They required none. Their hulls were blackened, their weapons arrays glowing like suns caged in steel. These were ships built not for defense but for judgment. When the first battle came, it was not a clash. It was an execution. The Zurith fleet that had destroyed Erevo's 80 warships strong found itself trapped between three Terran task forces. The humans did not announce themselves. They did not issue demands. They simply opened fire. Plasma lances split hulls. Rail cannons cracked cruisers like glass. Boarding pods struck like needles, releasing armored marines who fought without hesitation, without mercy. Within 40 minutes, the Zurith fleet was gone, not retreating, not scattered, gone. Galactic channels erupted in horror. What species could unleash such force without flinching? What kind of people fought with silence, then answered with storms? The answer was simple: humanity. The wrath of Earth. World after world fell. The Zurith home colonies, once proud with crystalline cities, found themselves shrouded beneath Terran bombardments. Orbital rings shattered into dust. Planetary defenses, designed to withstand centuries, cracked in days. Human marines descended like iron rain. Entire regiments struck the ground in perfect formation, their boots quaking continents. Tanks rolled with engines growling like beasts, mechs thundered with cannons that pierced mountains, and drones filled the skies like swarms of locusts. The Zurith fought desperately. They unleashed fleets upon fleets. They conscripted entire generations. They begged their allies for aid, but none came. Because all remembered